wide receivers. I would tell all the wide receivers when they come in, I said, man, hey, what? Congratulations. Y'all made this team. I want you to call everybody you know, your mom, sister, brother, uncle, niece, nephew, cousin, and your best friend, and tell them you made the team. The Dallas Cowboys, you made it as a wide receiver, but you will not be catching any passes. That's Michael Irvin's job. That is Michael Irvin's job. Let them know that right.
Show because I want to introduce Michael Irvin, playmaker, Hall of Famer, greatest wide receiver to ever play the game, great friend. But I need to tell this story to begin with. And I'm going to tell you how I met Michael Irvin the first time. So it was.
He looks a little nervous.
It was 92, and we had what we call mini camps back then, they were rookie mini camps. The veterans were not supposed to be there at all. So the rookies, the Cowboys that year drafted 4 guys that were defensive backs because we were lacking at the defensive back, especially cornerbacks, and we needed to get faster. And all fast guys. So they went out, Jimmy went out and said, you know what? We're going to get the secondary right. They go out and get Kevin Smith and myself and a guy named Clayton Holmes and all these guys. So that's the team. That's the organization. I mean, that's the group we bring in. And we're in mini camp, and Dave Campbell, we're in a small little room. And it's dark, man. No veterans there, just rookies, right? All the defensive backs, there's 10 of us in this one room.
Probably the same room DBs are in now, right?
No. Their headquarters are different now.
Well, yeah.
No. I meant at Valley Ranch. When I was there. I'm sorry. Next to the D-line room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Same little room, right?
Yeah.
Dark room. Campbell's got the clicker, right? And he's showing us, Campbell's running through coverages. We call switch coverage 4 and coverage 3 and all this. Now, we're going through these coverages, and then all of a sudden you hear this boom, and the door gets kicked in. And I'm near the front, man.
Look, he's laughing already. He knows.
I'm near the front, and I'm sitting here going, what the hell is that? The light comes on, click. And this dude walks in, never met him before in my life. Seen him on TV, but never met him before in my life. He walks up to the front. He's walking up, and he's looking at everybody. No clothes on. Like zero. Not a towel, not a jock strap, not socks, nothing. He walks in and looks at everybody. Lights on now. I'm trying to make eye contact. I'm up, dude.
With what?
I'm like,
You're making eye contact with what?
And he goes in. Y'all 4 3s and 4 2s. They recruited, they drafted. I'm going to kill each and every last one of y'all in one-on-ones. Blah, blah, blah. He goes in. And now, mind you, he ain't supposed to be on. He's not supposed to be there. He's breaking the rules, right? He ain't even supposed to be there. So they kick him out. So finally he walks out, slams the door. And this is the thing that got me. And I knew this is going to be different. This ain't Arizona State no more. This is different.
This isn't Lovey.
No, this ain't Lovey Smith no more. Campo doesn't miss a beat. They turn the lights off and Campo goes cover 4. This is what we're going to do. And I was like, wow, Lord.
We're not going to acknowledge what just happened here.
That's Michael Irvin.
That's a long time. Yeah. Now, I've been around Campo a long time, man. But with it, people have to understand. You understand, we were building something. And it's interesting because we're watching all this Last Dance and everything, and you're seeing the psychology behind building anything great and how it all works out. Everybody just thinks to pop up and it shows up and boom. But we were building something great. And my thought was always this, guys, honestly, with things like that. And I would always do things like that. These are young guys coming in. I'm going to need these guys. We're going to need these guys. We're going to need them in the fourth quarter. And I don't need, when I walk in here or when Troy walks in or when Emmett walks in, you're sitting with $50 in your eye. Man, that's such a, no, dude, we got to get ready to play some football together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was breaking the ice with all, and I always did stuff like that. Oh my God!
Was the naked part premeditated, or was it just like, I got an idea, let's roll?
No. I was standing in the middle of the locker room, and they had the cowboy helmet in the middle of the locker room, right on the star. and tell everybody, look at this body.
Oh, my God. All the time, man.
This is not your body.
All the time.
I don't want you to get mad at your mother and your father when you cannot get a body like this. This is not their fault.
And I got to tell this quick story because it was he and I
was just trying to break the ice because I'm going to need these guys down the road, man. It was fun. Hey, wide receivers, I would tell all the wide receivers when they come in, I said, man, hey, congratulations. Y'all made this team. I want you to call everybody you know, your mom, sister, brother, uncle, niece, nephew, cousin, and your best friend, and tell them you made the team. The Dallas Cowboys, you made it as a wide receiver. But you will not be catching any passes. That's Michael Irvin's job. That is Michael Irvin's job. Let them know that right.
Oh, man. This is what I came up with.
This is already my favorite podcast.
No, this is what I told you guys. It was my rookie year. I'm standing with it. We're in the locker room, and they used to come out and cut our hair, give us the barbershop. Barber used to come in.
The rookie, the actual barber, not
actual
the rookie
barber.
cuts.
No, the actual barber would come in. This is during the season. It's like during the season. This is this dude right here. So, and I still use this all the time. I use it on everybody, Mike. But you walked up, and it was you and I, and the barber was standing there. And we were looking at the mirror, and you said, Woody, am I more fine than sexy or sexy than fine? And I was like, how the hell do I answer? I mean, don't be offended, Woody. That's your manhood show. Tell me. And I'm like, no, man. No.
Well, I guess if I think about it, you're more sexy than fine.
Hey, yeah, we had some great times,
Yeah.
man. Oh, my God, we had great times, man. Thinking about those times. I can't believe that so much time has gone by.
Yeah.
When you look back at it now, you know, when you hear people all the time talk about what are you talking about, the Dallas Cowboys, people always talk, they haven't been there for 25 years. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing
It
that it's been that long, man. But yeah, those were great times.
Yeah.
Those were great times.
Man, Mike, hey, I appreciate everybody knows like your ability to motivate people. They know that you were the great player. They know all of those things that you are that make you so special compared to the guys you competed against and everybody that watches you. But we want to take a little bit of a step back and understand how you became that way. Because a lot of people, I mean, you even mentioned it, right? Can't have this body. But people aren't just born great. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a mentality. There's a work ethic. I mean, there's so many things. So I want to take a step back and just talk about, you know, early on in your childhood, what your family dynamic was like, and those things that really kind of formed and shaped the Michael Irvin that we watched on TV and continue to watch. And I mean, I got to say this. So when I was playing, my wife after the game, and you know, we'd win as many as we'd lose when I was playing, right? And so it was, and she's like, man, I really wish Coach Garrett would bring you guys out and watch the Jumbotron when Mike would talk to everybody, because then maybe you guys would play better, because I think everybody in the stands is more motivated than you guys look out there. Right? I'm like, damn, babe. Appreciate that.
That's the problem. There's
That's
more
right.
hype in the
fans, and that's why we got the best fans, right? But what made Michael Irvin the way that he is? So take us back to the beginning, man, and let's talk through kind of that journey and that process of you know, growing up and what made you the competitive athlete that you were.
Well, I don't know how much you guys know about that, but certainly, grew up in Fort Lauderdale. You know, grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm the 15th. That's my daughter calling. Let me just tell her I can't talk right now. There you go. So just make sure, because I'll just keep ending it and she'll keep calling.
hey, family first, man. If we got to hit pause on this, man, you got to do what you got to do.
Pause this.
Right. It's my girls. You know, all my girls, my wife, my mother-in-law, the daughters, they just think they run everything. And they do.
They do.
They do.
And they really do run everything. So it's all good. But growing up in Fort Lauderdale, I was the 15th of 17 kids now. There's 17 of us, man. I mean, golly. I always tell people when I'm going out doing the speaking engagements, I'm saying, man, you know what it's like when you're going up 15 to 17, and I'm talking about we were poor. And I tell people, I speak for a living. I understand the correct word is poor, but when you were as poor as we were, you couldn't afford the other O and the R. You just said poor. That's it. You poor. You couldn't afford it, right? And we were. And what was so funny is, you know, you get things passed down at that age. You know, we didn't have anything, so everything got passed down. And being the 15th, yeah, I got jeans or clothes that my brothers, my first brothers wore, and you just hoping by the time it lands on you, these may be bell bottoms. I'm like, please, by the time it gets back to me, please, let bell bottoms be back in style. You see what I'm saying?
It's all cycles, man. It's all cycles.
Right. I don't want to fall out of cycle, man, but that's what it was like, man. But I do think part of what you guys are talking about, growing up or becoming something, I think it all starts with somebody seeing something in you. You know, even beyond something you may see. Somebody, you heard it, like parents. My mom always said, baby, so I got something special for you. Yeah. You know, and that rings in my ears all the time. Baby, God got something special for you. I think a lot of times what we have to, as fathers, as mentors, is make sure we're looking for that something special in everybody that we're fathering or mentoring, because God gave everybody those gifts.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So at what age, obviously you've got a bunch of siblings that you're watching, right? And I'm sure there was athletes and you were watching that, but at what age were you just drawn to sports? And what age did you realize, okay, hey, this is something that I can really progress in?
Yeah. Let me break that down, how that went down too. You know, I was, when I was coming up, I was born in 66. So we lost Martin Luther King in 68. So around 6, 7 years old, 72, 73, they were starting to integrate schools. Mm. You know, you started, it's back time when they started integrating school. And I'll never forget going off to kindergarten early on, just going to kindergarten, and the first time they started busing people away and going into that classroom in kindergarten, going to Mirror Lakes Elementary, which was quite a ways from the ghetto that I was growing up in. And being mixed with all these kids now, and walking in that first day, and the teacher saying, hey, what color is this? And every student knew except me, or who knows how to spell their names, and all of that stuff. And everybody knew except you. And you go through that. I went through that probably at kindergarten, first, second, third grade. At third grade, a tutor came. And because they had gotten a tutor to help me. And the tutor that came out, we were working, and he brought a football one day. And he just said, hey, listen. He said, you know what, we finish quickly, we'll go out and play some football. And man, he was throwing the ball. He was like, oh, my God, man, you can catch, you know. And he said to me, man, you could be special catching like this, because he kept backing up and throwing it harder, and I would catch it. And I look back now, I would never forget when he said that, boy, you could be special. That's all I wanted to hear. And from that point on, I wanted to catch the football to hear you can be special. Now, you got to put that in with those first 2-3 years of schooling, where I thought I was so inferior to all of the students. So athletically, this levels the playing field. So that became my draw and my passion. Now, later on, you know, I graduated from the University of Miami as a junior with my business degree. I later on learned that it wasn't that I was inferior. I just couldn't afford preschool like all those other students had. All we had was Miss Doris. And, you know, being the 15th, you get Miss Doris from across the street. She comes over and she watches you. And you sit there, and I was watching all the stories. I knew everything about Days of Our Lives, but I didn't know any color, right? It was like, oh, this is what it is. Right? Oh, man. So I find that to be fascinating that it all, because, you know, and from that point on, it was all about football for me.
But it was, you played other sports, because I've seen you hoop. I mean, you played other sports. You weren't just football specific. Tell us about the other sports and the other involvement you're in.
Well, I played basketball. I was a very good basketball player. You know, won all kinds of dunk contests all throughout the country. Beach ball classics. Some of the best basketball players played in that. Won rebound trophies, everything. Did all of that. Was a very good basketball player. Almost went to the University of Indiana to play basketball and football. Under Sam White, they brought us into a camp one time, guys. This was, this is the first time we were going to get out of Fort Lauderdale, right? And these people came together, and they picked out me, Lorenzo White, I think, went running back from the Houston Rockets at the time, drafted him.
Yeah, the Oilers.
My best friend.
Oilers drafted.
Growing up. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers, right. Sorry about that. drafted him at the time, my best friend. So I and another friend, Dale, they all said, we're going to help these kids out. We're young kids. We're going to let them go to camp in Indiana, and the way we're going to pay for these camps. So when we get back, we were going to be scraping the wallpaper off all the buildings that they're renovating in South Beach and on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And we went off to the camp now. And of course, you taking the kid out of the ghetto.
Yeah.
out of the ghetto. But you take me to this camp where all these nice kids are and their parents dropping them off meal money. I ain't know nothing about no meal money and all these things. I came with all of my ghetto hood slicking, and I had this game called 3-Card Molly. Man, I must have won every one of them kids' money.
You hustle those kids, man.
Man, I swear, the coaches came to my room. Lorenzo White, was he's always scared. He said, Mike, we shouldn't be doing this, man. These people doing good things for us, Mike. We shouldn't be. These people gonna send us home, Mike. He was scared. He kept saying it. And one of the kids, they called home, and they were crying because they needed more money for pizza. I have to tell y'all this story. So they were waiting for the pizza. So the parents called and said, what's going on with all this money that we're sending the kids? Of course, I got called. The coaches came to my room. The rest of it, I told you we were going to get called. They made me give back all the money.
Come on, man. Hey, man.
I had to give back all the money, man. But working on that beach, man, I'm going to tell you something. We were scraping the wallpaper off all these hotels, these big hotels, the big buildings they're going to renovate. Oh, my God, dude. I was telling them then, Woody, I told them, I said, man, this is bull. This is bull. So I ain't going to be doing this all my life. And then all the rich people would all be down there on the beach while we up there scraping off them walls.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to be down there with them people. I ain't going to be up here scraping all my life.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because you're talking about the drive that makes you want to go and do something.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Makes you want to go and try to be the best. And of course, I was trying to get there. Even though early on with the 3-Card Molly, I was trying to get there the wrong way. When I saw it, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to have a better life than I had.
But where does that like I've played with competitive folks, man. I've never played or been around. And we're watching The Last Dance, and they keep on talking about Michael Jordan. I said, well, the Michael Jordan I knew was number 88. Where does that competitive drive come? Is that instilled through your father, your family? Where did that come from?
Man, and honestly, as much as I got on guard about sending so many siblings my way, man, I really believe that's the root of it right there. When you coming in 15th, and I mean, all of them did me all kinds of ways, but because I was one of the youngest, and you got to earn everything, and you couldn't do anything. Now kids get to go. You're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They have leagues for you. Oh, you can play in a 5-year-old league, 6-year-old league. Back then, at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, as you got older, you had to earn your way in.
Right.
They didn't have leagues for your age. You go to the park and you had the ball. You want to play. Boy, sit your butt down. You can't play yet. You had to prove to them that you were good enough to play. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That stuff we don't have anymore because everybody gets an opportunity. Everybody gets the participation trophy. But back then, coming in, you had to earn that right. I had to earn respect in all those kids above me, and then try to earn respect in that neighborhood when I was growing up.
Well, so you mentioned that you thought about playing basketball at the University of Indiana. Give us the recruiting. You went through this recruiting process out of high school. I've heard the story about your first time going to Miami.
I can't imagine Mike on a recruiting trip.
Oh, I could. I can. I hear the stories. I was like, yeah, he was challenging folks day one. But give us a.
Oh yeah, you talking about when I first got to Miami?
Oh yeah. Just jump into that, man. When you first got to Miami, give us that story, man.
I was on a recruiting trip in Miami, and Miami, Miami's winning national championship. That they were bad back then. They had Eddie Brown and Stanley Shakespeare, bad boys at wide receiver. and I came to visit and went out to one of the practices, and I'm out hanging out, and guys coming over to me, the receivers coming over, say, who are you? and I don't say his name. But the first thing I said you looking at the dude that's going to take your job.
How old were you, Mike? You're a 17-year-old kid.
Man, hey, they bother me about that all the time, man. All these old black dog jokers coming out here sitting on the field. Didn't have a dime to his name talking about it. He's going to take somebody's job, man. But yeah, man, that's what that competitive thing brought out of you. And we competed so great at Miami, man. It was an incredible thing when you talk about competing. Because I do believe competing brings the best out of you. Like when we got Woody, man, we got them young bucks, man. I was like, please, man, I'm finna work you boys to death. I used to tell them dudes, I used to tell them too, man. I said, man, listen, all right, that 4.2, you ran that fresh. That's that 4. You run a 4.2 while you fresh. By the second quarter, that 4.2 gonna be about a 4.4. I said my 4.5 gonna still be a 4.5, and then in the third quarter, that 4.4 gonna be about a 4.6. My 4.5 gonna still be a 4.5. In the fourth quarter, you gonna be at 4.7. My 4.5 gonna still be a 4.5. And I'm gonna beat your butt. That's what I'm gonna win the game. Yeah. I used to mess with them guys all the time, man. Cause all of them came in running 4.2s and 4.3s, and I try to tell you. Man.
I try to tell these dudes. These dudes did not believe that I ran a 4.3, man. They would not.
I've seen you walk up and down stairs. There's no way in your life.
My man just said.
Woody was one of the freak athletes before you saw those freak athletes. Right, like right now, the NFL today, Woody be a high-paid safety, no doubt, because he can do it both. He can play the run and he can cover the pass. He can do it both. We challenge each other all the time, especially in that slot. And Woody can cover in the slot. Like it's hard for a safety to really play and cover in that slot. And he has that ability, man. Woody was a killer, man. And Woody ran about a 4.38, right, Woody?
Yes, 4.35 to be exact.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay, it was downhill. It was a little windy.
His uncle had to stop watching in the stands and got him at 4.35.
You want me to be
exact? When this class came in, and I'm not lying, man, we watched these boys all of 40 times coming in. Did Alexander Wright come in with y'all?
No, he came in a year or two before us. Yes.
A year before, right. And he ran a 4.19, man. And then this class came. I remember calling my wife, man, hey, baby, Sam, what's up? I said, where you at, baby? I said, get out of the mall. I said, stop shopping. They got dudes around here running 4.2s, 4.1. Get out of the mall. Stop shopping right now. Right? We got to start saving. And then, of course, we get on the field. Man, and things start happening. I called my baby back. I said, "You good?
You good? We'll back."
And it was complete. And that's why I want to talk. Like when you were in high school, let's go back. Because was it Schnellenberger that recruited you, or was it Jimmy who came in later? Right?
No. Just Schnellenberger recruited me, and Jimmy took over before I started playing.
Okay, so Schnellenberger was recruited. Who else was recruiting you out of high school?
Out of high school, LSU. Syracuse. My first visit was at Syracuse. It was Syracuse. I really wanted to go to Syracuse, man. Really wanted to go out. Syracuse, then I really wanted to go to LSU. Really, I wanted to go to Syracuse because they had apartments for people, and I had been living in that little tiny house with 16 Negroes. I wanted my own place, and I was coming cheap. I said, just give me that apartment.
I'm good.
You don't even got to give me a scholarship. Just give me an apartment.
All right. Let me get out from under all of them. So that's the first visit that I wanted to go. And since I mentioned Lorenzo, let me tell you, this was what I thought was funny too, man. Because Lorenzo went to Michigan State, broke all the records at Michigan State. So we wanted to kind of go to school together. So we took a visit. We took Michigan State visit together. And I'm watching the coach, and then they would watch how they handle me. They were giving Lorenzo everything.
Right.
School book. You need a sweater. Just sneak him a sweater. I didn't know anything. I was coming from Miami. I had on some penny loafers. And dude, it must have been 5, 6 degrees below.
Oh, man. No.
Back then, I'm coming from Miami. I had some penny loafers with no socks on. and we were walking through the bookstore. And I was like, man, there's some nice socks. I said it loud. There's some nice socks. I said it one more time. There's some nice socks. Ain't nobody offer me no socks. Right?
Out. This ain't for me. This ain't for me.
I saw you sneaking them sweaters to Lorenzo White. We got back to the room. Lorenzo said, man, I really like it here. I said, Lo, Mr. Stay for you. But it ain't for me. I'm tell you right now, they wouldn't even give a cold brother some socks. So, yeah, man, Miami ended up being the spot for me.
Man. Yeah. Hey, so Michael, you talked about you talked about coming in early into Miami and telling guys, hey, I'm going to take your job. You had that confidence, and you had that from an early age. Maybe that's because you're always fighting, right, with siblings, and you're always earning everything that you get, and there's that confidence you have. Right. But the difference between you and I'm going to compare you to some of the guys that I played the generation after you, and so. The difference is there's a lot of guys that talk.
You say confidence now. Let's talk something here because I think this is a very important point. Mm-hmm. When we talk, I had confidence, but what I think drives you to be great is hunger. Mm-hmm. It's hunger. Confidence is one thing. Hunger is another. I have a son that plays football, and I said, son, what is it you want to do? He said, Dad, I want to play in the NFL. But I told him then, his name is Michael, I said, hey, go pack your bags. He said, what do you mean? I said, go pack your bags, and we'll talk in a minute. When he packed his bags, then he came back down and sat right here in my office. I said, hey. He said, what's up, Dad? I said, okay, now you got to go. He said, what do you mean? I said, you got to go. I sent him to stay with my nephew in Fort Lauderdale. Stays in a one-bedroom house, with a little side room, half room. And he's a personal trainer. And I said to him, I said, son, to make it and do anything great, and you be an NFL player, it takes some great. It takes greatness. Mm-hmm. I say it's not about a skill set. Everybody can run, everybody can jump, and he has great hands, catch. Everybody can do that. Your job, you're going to have to match the hunger of the dude across from you every play. Mm-hmm. And how can you match the hunger when you're living in a mansion and he's playing for the mansion? Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I sent him to live with my nephew, and that was when he was a junior, and he hasn't come back home. So he's building that hunger. So I just wanted to tell that, and that's what I think made some guys talk about they want it. Man, I want to play in there. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yeah, you want it, but do you want it more than anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody. Then you will start moving ways when you want it and you need it more than anybody, because that is what feeds you. I think hunger is the most important.
So hey, Jay, get your bags.
Hey, but that really answers a lot of my question, because you get to the highest level, and whether that's in business, whether that's in sports, whatever it is, you get to the highest level. You get there, and there's all these guys that talk, that go in and they run their mouth, but there's also that work ethic when you get there to stay on top. And that's what you did. That's what Darren did. That's what the greats do. That's what Troy did. That's what Emmett did. That's what Daryl Johnson's did. Yeah. It's when you get there and you have arrived and you live in the mansion, how do you keep that mindset of hunger to be the best every single play and have that 4-5 on play 1, on play 25, on play 65? How do you get that? Where does that come from?
And it comes from, honestly, that hunger being engrafted. You realize what you have is a result of that hunger. So it can't quell the hunger. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Yeah. Everything that's just a result of the hunger. It doesn't quell the hunger. So you got to still go. I always tell people all the time, it's one thing to climb the mountain. It's another to stay up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why you have to You have to tip your hat to Tom Brady and Belichick and all of them, man. Hey, man, it's one thing to say, hey, because you got that fresh and new excitement about climbing. Oh, boy, about to hit the next level. We never been to this level. Another level. Boy, wait till we get this level, each time. But once you get up there, that fresh new excitement you had, everybody has it about it except you, and they come in after you. Yeah. It's a battle. And now you have to match their hunger when you've already eaten off a championship and still match their hunger. It's a hell of a thing. That's why that thirst has to be so insatiable. Yeah. Insatiable. That's what we're seeing with Michael Jordan. He had an insatiable thirst that made him that great.
Mm-hmm. We lost him. Did we lose you?
You still there?
No, I'm here. You guys, I'm still. Okay. You guys don't hear me?
Yeah, got you. Well, you talked about earlier. Yeah. When you're scraping the paint off and you see the people lounging, and that's just, I want to live like that. I want to get that one day. So when you did accomplish that, at that point, what you're talking about is having that drive and that hunger stuck now. It's a habit now. Yeah. So for you, when you did get all that, when you did accomplish that, was there a sense of fear of loss, or how did you maintain that sort of hunger once you did achieve whatever you were trying to achieve?
Well, I don't have a fear of loss. Two things you're asking me here. The fear of loss. I always say I measure men in distance travel. Because I tell me where you started and where you are, and I'll measure you accordingly. And don't just see, instead of just let me seeing where you are and measure you. Mm-hmm. When I see a man that has started one place and have earned something, then there's a little less fear of loss because he knows how to make that travel that journey. Mm-hmm. So I know all I have to do is direct my hunger in another direction. Mm-hmm. I can climb back out wherever I am. You know what I mean? If I can reach the same hunger about getting out as I reached about getting out of the ghetto and getting out of that hell, I can just really, you know what I mean? So when you get to one stage, you're like, okay, I'm here, but I feel I still got more in me. You just keep it. You can all redirect that hunger. Yeah. That I don't think you ever satisfy that. Even now, what I do now, I still want to be the best at it. Broadcasting. I'm not just talking about talking to people. I understand and learn the four lobes of the brain, how you understand and receive information, how the brain works. You got a million synapses in your brain that helps you bring in and galvanize information, but also in your imagination, you have a billion synapses. That's why they play music before any real scene comes on the TV, because they're incorporating the billion synapses in your brain. They don't want you dealing with the million. They want you dealing with all the possibilities in your brain. So it's done up, and your brain starts thinking of all the possibilities. So anything happening on TV, you jump. It's all they're working in your brain. I want to know how brain works. So when I'm talking to you, I'm working in your brain too. That's why they don't pay me what they pay me.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back, man, because I want to follow along the journey. I want to bring us back to the journey. So you're in college now. Your junior year. You're in your junior year. Did you leave early, Mike, or did you stay?
Yeah. Back then, remember that I graduated after my junior year and left school. Now, back then, in order to go to the NFL early, you had to graduate first.
Yeah, right.
And now this is what it gave me. Once you graduated, since I graduated, when I went into the draft, I had control over the draft. In this sense. Not in control, but in this sense, if any team drafted me that I did not want to play for, I could drop a class, finish up in summer school, the team would lose a draft choice, and then I could apply for a supplemental draft. Right. So Green Bay called with the seventh pick of the draft, and they was like, Michael, we're thinking about drafting you, and we were at home, and because they didn't invite juniors at the time to the combines or certainly to the draft, we were at home. And I started saying, Green Bay, man, it's cold in Green Bay. And the whole family started saying, no way, Green Bay, no way. We the brokest people in the world. The hell we talking about no way to right. But I knew Dallas would draft me at 11. Dallas didn't even call. They just made the draft pick.
Hey, think about Green Bay. early 90s, if they'd gotten those 2 picks, we talked to Troy about him potentially going to Green Bay instead of Dallas. If Green Bay had lost the last game the previous year, they were going to pick Troy. Imagine if you two went to Green Bay.
Yeah,
that would be.
Imagine that.
No, but
we ended up in the right spot.
Yeah, you did.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
But the only time
I was willing to give up something on the front end because I knew the back end would be so great. Trust me.
You have all your fingers and toes.
Exactly.
Right.
No frostbite up there.
And the Dallas Cowboy brand.
Yeah.
Let's be real here now. Yeah. There is nothing greater than the Dallas Cowboy brand when you're talking about football, man, and to have the chance to do what we did here, that'll last and be talked about forever.
But that's the only time I've ever seen fear in Michael Irvin's eye. It's the only time that I actually at one point saw a glimmer of fear. And here it is.
When I laid on that carpet?
No, that wasn't it. You stayed strong. We were in Green Bay. And it was a clear day. It was so clear outside. And Mike was like the catalyst. He would go out. He'd walk back in. We're going to kick them ass. We're going to do this and this and that. Blah, blah, blah. So Green Bay, we had to walk out this little tunnel, right? And it was like down low. You had to walk up.
Go down the stairs and then, man.
Yo, he
with the turf on it?
He didn't have anything on. He tried to be out there and go strong with no sleeves on. And he would walk back down. I looked in his eye. He was like, what are you, man? What is cold as hell? I instantly went back and changed.
All right. Sleeves it is.
They were talking with it, but it was so cold, man. In Green Bay, and they continue to remind you because they put it on the scoreboard.
Temperature,
-5, -6, whatever, -. I'm like, man, stop flashing that, man. I understand, I'm trying to forget about it. Oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world.
Hey, that was Chicago for us in 2013. It was that like negative 15 wind chill game. Same deal. Bunch of guys go out, no sleeves, lasted about 45 seconds, turn right back around. Jackets it is. Man, and I played, Michael, I played in Canada a year, and you know what they do up there? They got handles of liquor on the equipment table. You know where you got tape and eye black and all that stuff as you're walking out? So guys in Canada take a pull off of either whiskey or vodka before they walk out and play. True story. True story. And I'm like, it's Canada, man. It's
oh my God.
Hey, and we had a playoff game. It was 20 below and same deal. And I went out and it was freezing cold. And I'm a no sleeve guy and I'm pretty fair complected. So I was like clear. I was so cold up there, right? And I go out through warm-ups and I'm dying. I'm like, there's no way I can even move. I can't even move. And I came back before kickoff, and one of the veteran Canadian guys goes, better take a pull of whiskey, man. It's going to help you, I promise. Hey, and I did, and it just took the edge off just enough to let me move, man. It is no joke.
I do got a random question. Y'all may already know the story, but one of my teammates in college, he was one of our top receivers, and he picked the number 47 as a wide receiver. Maybe y'all already know the story. Why did you choose 47?
Yeah, I always wondered that too, man. Why 47 in college?
Choose 47, man. They just gave. First of all, they just gave you for that time. Remember now,
that's disrespectful.
Brown were number 40. Brett Perriman 33. They were giving those kinds of numbers to wide receivers, and they gave me the number 47. I went in because I just put it on. I'm in the mirror like.
This is nasty. It's for those Sunday scrimmages in college.
I didn't feel it. Now, you got to remember I didn't feel it. I'm a freshman. I'm from the same guy. They just went and talked all that noise about, I'm a guy take your job and all that. I was just a freshman. And dude, I thought about it for a day or two, built up enough nerve. I said, okay, I'm going to hold on to it. Let me just go through a couple of practices with it, man. I'll go through a couple of practices, see what I can do, right? Went through a couple of practices. I still didn't feel it. So built up enough nerve, went and talked to Coach Johnson about it. Because I wanted to get out the numbers. You had to go talk to Coach Johnson. I went and sat and talked with him about it. I said, Coach, listen, I was just thinking, man, if I could change my number. The number, he said, well, what are you thinking about? I said, I was thinking about wearing number 7. Number 7, I'm going to score 7 touchdowns. He said, I like that. He said, I like that, Mike. He said, I like that. He said, well, let me tell you something. He said, listen. He said, when I see you on that field right now, when I'm watching you at practice, and you catch that ball, man, and I see you running, man, I see you look like a big 747 just coming down the runway. Can't nobody get in your way as you go to the end zone. He said, I really enjoyed watching that. I was like, yeah? He said, yeah. I'm like,
You're right. You're right.
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I remember, man, later on, I got ready to graduate. I told Coach, I can't believe I let you sell me that story. He said, it worked, man.
Yeah.
But he sold it. When you talk about seeing greatness in people and pulling greatness out, and you don't know what it is, you know what I mean? But just him saying that, and I'm being a freshman, and I wanted to make an impression. Excuse me. And I'm trying to win a job, and just that little thing.
Yeah.
I swear, I'll never forget him saying just that little thing. He said, we got to show the world Michael Irvin, like a 47 coming down the runway. Dude.
That was it.
I was like, I loved that, man. It was boop, all on my arm. I went and hit them stairs, man. I was running like, I ain't going to let you down, coach. I ain't gonna let you down. That's all it took, man. You making me think that's crazy that goes down like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny.
So the Cowboys draft you, man, and you come in, and I know there's been stories out there as far as the day you got drafted. Tell us personally, what was that feeling like? Because Coach Landry was a part of this organization, was the head coach at the time, and he brought you in. He's the one that drafted you. What was that feeling like?
Well, first of all, Coach Landry, my dad, who was my hero now. My dad's my hero, man. He's a minister, and he's a roofer. And he worked hard, man. But he loved the Dallas Cowboys. He even wore that fedora hat, like Tom Landry used to wear. And we used to always talk about going to a game one day because we played. We lived in Miami and wanted to go see the Dolphins and everything. Talk about going to the game, but of course we never could afford a game. But we always would watch the game. And back then, his Cowboys were on the TV all the time. So we would always watch, man. So to get drafted, and my sister told me a long time ago, when I first got to college, you're going to get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, just because that was Dad's team. And I just lost my dad my senior year in high school. So you're going to get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought it was just talk. But I found out actually when Coach was talking, Jimmy was talking to me right before the draft. He said, listen, I know what you're doing with graduating early and trying to have some kind of control and say in where you go. He says, but Dallas is thinking about drafting you. He says, and if they do, none of that, we're not going to play any of those shenanigans. And he told me then, he said, I got a very good oil buddy friend of mine that's about to buy the Dallas Cowboys, and I may be joining you.
Wow. That early on.
Dang.
Huh.
He told me that, yeah, right.
Wow.
While I was getting drafted, he told me that then. He told me that, and I guess it took a year for him to buy it. And so Tom Landry and them drafted me, and of course I got here, man, and yeah, that was something, dog, to see that when you first got here, man. First of all, it was Tom Landry. Right. You know what I mean? It was a great Tom Landry, man. Yeah. Tom was a god, everywhere, and to come in and to see Too Tall, to see some of the guys that I saw in the locker room, Randy White.
Yeah.
I was blown away with that. Tony Dorsett, Tony, all those guys, man. I was blown away with that.
So that's got to be crazy coming in and playing for Tom Landry, the legend that he is. But then also the team struggling the way that it did, right? Your first couple years. And how was that to see, such a legend in the coaching community and in sports and just an icon? But then what do you think the disconnect was between the wins and losses and then everything that Tom had done in the past?
Tom was a good man, and he had given so many young men opportunities and rose them up, to Bill Bates and all of those guys. And honestly, we're playing a sport, but emotions get involved. And unlike Belichick, who is, he keeps those things at a bay. He get rid of people 1 year too soon. I think coaches held on to some of his main guys a year or two too long. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We came in and Ken Norton Jr., he was second round pick. I was the first round pick. I remember coming in, looking and saying, man, These guys been around a while, you know what I mean? Great guys and everything. I wanted to see. We were rookies. We wanted to see fire.
Yeah.
You know, we had fire before that first game in Pittsburgh. Oh, we wanted to go fire. And I was like, hey man, you know, they were telling us, calm down, rookie, calm down. I mean, calm down. So I just think some of the guys, you know, I just out of loyalty, he just held on to some of the guys a little too long.
All right. So you come in, and then they draft Troy, and Jimmy comes in. And what was the biggest difference that you saw in that culture shift when Jimmy comes in and takes over the Cowboys?
Well, now let me. There are a lot of guys I think that were, you know, you've been around a while, you had some security, and felt good about it. You know, Jimmy shook up security when he got here. You know, when I back up and tell you this, I remember coming in the first year, and you're thinking, telling everybody, man, I can do everything. Don't worry, we're gonna win. Now I'm here. Don't sweat it. Man, we went out there, man. We lost 13 games. 13 games we lost, man. Out of each game, I was crying like a baby. I mean, literally crying like a baby. I'm not talking about joke crying. I'm talking about I had been in Miami and at St. Thomas. I need to see that St. Thomas. Maybe in my 3 years at Miami, I lost 2 or 3 games. I hadn't lost these many games in I don't know how long. And every week, I was like, Pittsburgh, we're going to kill Pittsburgh. Man, we come out early on. I catch a curl. This is the first game of my career. I catch a curl, Rod Woodson on the field, take that thing. I said, this is easy. This junk is easy. Man, that was the last touchdown we scored, man. They scored again. Man, we lost 13 times. I was like, oh, my God. And then next year, I'm thinking, oh, we good. We drafted Troy. I said, that's all I need. That's all I need. You know, all I need was a quarterback. I'm good now. Man, we lost 15 times that year. I said, golly, this thing is crazy. But we got him at that third year. And what I think is most important, we went and got Norv Turner. Norv Turner came in and pieced the offense together. You know what I mean? Used Troy's talent, used my talent. He said, Michael, you know, with your size, we'll put this timing offense to be perfect. And Norv had spent time with me, which was interesting. Norv was with me the day before the draft because the Rams were going to draft me 14th after the Cowboys. They went and got Flipper Anderson.
So Norv was in with the Rams at the time.
Norv was with the Rams at the time. Norv was going to draft me too. So with Norv and I, we were already studying Henry Ellett and studying the offense. He was telling me then, what is offense is perfect for you. You know, you had to buy it in all that when we were sick. This is before I got drafted. Then Dallas drafted me before the Rams. Rams took Flipper Anderson and you know, Norv flew on back to LA, you know, and then later on we got Norv in and it went booming from there.
How did the reality of being drafted compare to what you had dreamed about your whole life and that goal that you were trying to achieve?
Man, that was everything, man. That was everything. And you got to understand now, you know, you see it now because everybody sees everything now. You know, you get to touch everything in the social media world, everything. There was nobody coming out of Fort Lauderdale, where I came from, making it to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? There weren't a whole lot of guys that had gone before me that gone to the NFL. You know, Anthony Carter was a few years ahead of me.
Yep. Minnesota Viking receiver, yeah.
Yeah, and Anthony,
he beat you a couple times.
He's older than me, man. He was older dude.
Yeah. But everything, Anthony Carter was our man. You know, we wanted to be Anthony Carter. So getting drafted that day, man, and going through all you had gone through, and I went all the way back to feeling like that little dummy in first or second grade, first catching that football in third grade, and now realizing that dream. That's what makes the draft so great.
Yeah.
That's what watching the draft makes so great, man. You get to watch those guys' dreams realized. They've been dreaming that since a little kid. Going to play in a Super Bowl, and I tell these guys, man, you've been dreaming about this from the first time. Do you know what it's like to really walk on that field, man? Why would you let anything stop you?
Yeah.
If you get in the NFL, you hear now How would you let anything stop you from getting that feeling of completing that and actually playing in a Super Bowl, man? It's nothing like it because you dreamed about it all your life.
You know what, Mike? I want you to walk us through. Yeah. You know, you go through. You come in with the Cowboys. You win 3 games. Then the next year, Troy comes in. You win you win 1 game. You lose 15 straight games, basically. And then you have Emmett comes in the next year, and you guys went 7-9.
7-9.
Okay, so let's fast forward it to 92. When you went into that season, because when I walked into that, got drafted and walked into that locker room, there was a buzz. I was anxious.
We knew.
Yeah,
it was a wrap.
But I was anxious. You guys have been there. I was anxious in the fact that the practices were harder than the games, Mike.
Yeah,
Mike, the practices were. It was like you better be strapped up and ready to go at practice. Be warmed up. Because when we would stretch, the trash talking was going back and forth. You couldn't imagine, man. And being a young kid, 22 years old, you're sitting there going, but you guys had this feeling. I mean, you were, and I've told people this so many times. There were only a few people on that team, and especially when Jimmy left, that were really in the moment. Like you guys were in the moment. You understood the history of what could have took place within this organization, like, multiple championships. You were in the moment. I wasn't so much in the moment because I was so young. But I want you to talk to us about that 92 team and the feeling you had going into that season.
And you're right. And so when we go through my rookie year in 88 and in 13, and then Troy's rookie year coming in 89, and I tear my knee up in 89. So when we first started playing together was the Tampa game in Emmett's rookie year, which the year we went 7-9. So I'm coming back off the knee surgery, and then we go through that year, the 90s year. We go through the 91 year. It's our first full year. We're starting all together. I'm healthy. We got Troy, and we got Noah. We're 91. That 91 year, we take off. Troy gets hurt. And Berline comes in. Not that year. Troy gets hurt. 91 year, we take off. We take off everything. Well, I'm winning. I win receiver of the year. Emmett wins the rushing title. Emmett was driving home after the season, and he's like, man, like we knew we had something. We knew we had something. I remember Emmett called me and said, man, we had quite a year. I said, yeah, but that's okay. I said, but next year, we're gonna win it. We got it. I said, we got it. I said, don't worry, we got it. Because we saw now that we had the basis of something great on offense. We knew we'll get the right parts put together on defense, and we knew it would take off. And when you guys got there and Chucky came and all that, that was over. It was over. It was over because you could see where the offense was going. And then all you guys came and solidified on the defense and took it to a place where I didn't think we would ever reach defensively. People underestimate how great those defenses were in those years. They don't talk about them because they talk about the triplets, but those were some great defenses.
Yeah, I remember because sorry, Mike, but I grew up a 49er fan, and so I watched those. I watched those games closely, and no joke, Steve Young and Jerry and Ricky Waters and all those guys early on, man, it was those were some battles with that defense. All right, so talk us through that feeling though in Pasadena. You made it to the Super Bowl. You had that conversation with Emmett, but now you're in Pasadena. You're playing in the iconic Rose Bowl. Right. And talk us through that feeling and maybe compare it to draft day or compare it. I mean, I don't want to because I'm a father and I don't know what a Super Bowl is like, but I mean, the birth of a child, I mean, it's got to be up there on all-time experiences that you've gone through.
Yeah, and no matter what you say, man, and no matter how somebody tell you and talk to you about it, you until you see it, until you do it, there's nothing anybody can tell you. Because, the whole time, especially that first one, we kept saying, experience don't matter. What do you mean? Football is football. I was like, yeah. I'll run a 20-yard in is a 20-yard in. If it's on I don't care what field is on. We could do it out there in the street. I'm gonna still catch that 20-yard in. Ain't that nobody can do about it. Ain't that nobody can do. Right? I used to be saying all that, we talking all that noise all week long, like it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we got out there the first night out there. We sneak out. They got some party full of faith, some album party. Me, Fredo, Kmart, Harp. We all busted in the party. We done crashed these people party. There's some album celebrating party. We in the back. We talking all. We making so much noise. They send people back there and say, "Hey, can you guys keep it down? Can y'all keep it down?"
Football guys.
Like, man, we ain't keeping it down. We here. We the show. What are y'all talking about? We are the show so we were acting the fool, man. Man, when we walked on that field, Emmett and I, we always, right before we walk on the field and touch the field, we'll touch each other, boom, snap, double trouble, 22-8. Well, let's go be double trouble. We will win this game by land or by air, but we will win this game. We always said that right before we hit the field together, right? And we stepped on that field, and it was 100,000 people. And in the Rose Bowl, they right there on it. And them people erupted. I was like, ooh. I said, E, boy, did you feel that? He said, God damn. I remember what I said, don't say anything, man. If they know we got some
Oh, yeah. You better not look scared, brother. I'd have been like, what in the world?
Nothing, but you felt that, man. That was because it's like what I talked about. How could you not expect to feel that, man, when you dreamed about it your whole life, man, and now to be that year, that San Francisco game, remember? Yeah. They were saying, well, we don't know if this is the year for the Cowboys. They may be 1 year away. Yeah. 1 year away. We already knew we were going to beat. Yeah. When we walked into Buffalo, they were like, well, maybe next year. We already knew we were going to win those games, man. We were that confident.
What was pregame Michael Irvin like typically? Were you the rah-rah guy? Were you quiet? Were you like?
No, I ain't no quiet. Yeah,
you want me to tell you? You really want me to tell you?
I'm all over the place and on everybody. You better believe it. I'm all over the place and on everybody. Yeah. Hey, game day, practice day, every day. Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. Practice like that too. We're running one-on-one in practice. And if I'm beating these dudes, man, we don't catching balls coming back, man. I'm talking, man, what is it? Man, I am killing you jokers out here today. Hey, listen, I start shouting my address. 2339 Aberdeen Penn. Send your checks that way for this clinic I am putting on. I am putting on a clinic out here. Y'all send them checks, right? I was cutting up, man, because that's what it takes. When you're trying to do something great, this physical, you have to do things to get your mind past the physicality of it and make it an intense, emotional, competitive battle. Because this is a physical, hard game, man. You got to do things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, so many memories. You're bringing back so many memories, man. Because I remember being in training camp in it was in training camp in my first year in '92, and I remember you ran a route. I mean, Jimmy said, Woody, I want you to go out there and cover the wide receivers because we were covering the tight ends, the safeties. He's like, no, you're going to be my nickel guy. I want you to go out. So
were you scared?
Hell yeah. I ain't never covered wide receivers before. So he's waiting on me. The first person I cover somebody, man. I was like a free agent, and I knocked the ball down. He said, okay, 88's about to come up. This is Jimmy now. 88's about to come up here. What you going to do about that? So I'm thinking, I'm not going to see 88 because our number one corner is going to see 88. And he's like, no. Get your ass out there, right? So he runs his route, right? And it was just a comeback. He ran a comeback. I thought you were running to go. He catches the ball, move it. And then the practices go on and on that day, and I see you again a couple one-on-ones, and you hit me on a skinny post for a touchdown. But then you came back, and this is where growth comes in, man. I'm serious. This is how you grow. You told me on the way back, you spiked the ball. First of all, you had to talk shit. You did your shit talking, you spiked the ball. I'm killing you. You ain't done. You're 4 threes and blah, blah, blah. So you come on back, you walk me back, and you put your arm around me and say, look, man, what I saw is your body was leaning this way, and I knew I could get inside. He says, I got to make you better because I know you're going to see Jerry. I know you're going to see Chris Carter.
Right.
So I got to make you better. I got to sharpen you. And I see that, and I think
Yeah.
That's the part that made that team so special, is because the great players that we had were willing to not only talk trash and to sharpen you, but help you and encourage you to get better as well, man. And those are the things that it's hard to explain to the fans out there why that team was so special.
Right. And me talking about that with Woody, we would line up a top of the edge of the numbers. I could roll a rollout 3 or a glance 8 route.
Yeah.
So Woody's right in making an adjustment. He's trying to, every time I lined up there, I'm rolling out on a 3 route, 12 yard out. And I'm watching him. Once I got him leaning just a little bit towards that little 12 yard out, we come back with that bang 8.
Yeah, bang 8, man. Yeah, that bang 8 was special, bro.
And back then they call him a bang 8 because it's usually
balls
the
out.
hit.
And Troy's gonna put it on the money, like
put it on it, right?
Yep.
But I'm reading. All I'm waiting on is that one. I'm watching every time you line up. Where you line up, you step and lean one way. Now we're gonna go right by you and glance by you. But I would tell them. And even weeks we're getting ready to play, I'm like, come on, man. Come on up here and press. Let's get some work in. I need you. I'm trying to beat Jerry Rice.
Right.
I need you to do your part to help me do that.
Right.
And so I'm going to whoop you right here in practice out of love, so you can be prepared to get Jerry Rice to help me. You see what I'm saying? So take this beating, but it's good for you.
It's good for you. Just take it, Darren.
It's getting you ready, man. Yeah, it was great. They were great competitive practices.
So
your daddy, Michael Irvin's going to teach you a lesson today.
So let's go through this, because I don't want to hold you too long, but I want to walk you through this. So I remember the day Jimmy, the breakup happened. I was in Phoenix, and I'm back home visiting family, and back then we didn't have social media, so I saw it actually on the news taking place. Right. And I and my buddy calls me up and says, "Hey man, your boy is acting a fool in the locker room." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I turn on the news, and it's Mike throwing a garbage can into the locker room. Like, I want you to talk to us, man, because at the media. That was, and again, in the moment, understanding that you guys were in the moment and understood the legacy of this organization, because I firmly believe that we could have won 4 or 5 straight with Jimmy at the head.
Especially when you're watching that last dance. Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're watching that last dance, you knew. I said that too. Put that on my mind, man. Definitely should have won 4 in a row easily. Yeah. But okay, go ahead on, man.
But talk to us about what you were feeling at that time, man. I mean, because you knew it was history.
Yeah, and that was, the media were all in the locker room, man. And when I heard that morning that what had happened, because remember, that broke late. Yeah. Late morning. I broke late morning. I said, what are you, and I knew it was some issues going back and forth, and I knew the media back and forth. Jerry said it. Oh, Jimmy, I heard Jimmy say this. Man, I was so hot. And honestly, at first, I told Trash Can Adam to get out of the locker room because, I put some blame on the media on this because they all have friendships. He's got friendships with Jerry and Jimmy, and they all, snurping here, back and forth, chirping here, and things show up in the paper, Jerry read it, things show up in the paper, Jimmy read it. I think they stoked the fire somewhat with all that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Stoked the fire with all of that and made it, because what do? We just talked about it. Once you get to the top, now you got to fight everybody trying to get you off of it.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw that as everybody. Media, y'all tried to do it too. You know what I'm saying? Right. I saw that as everybody. So, yeah, I was upset. And when they came in, they were trying to get interviews. I said, I don't want to get out of here. And I tossed the garbage can at me, help them get out of here. I think, it's
good for you. Take it.
all of it. All of this is garbage, is symbolically what it was saying. So I'm tossing garbage at the garbage that just put me in a garbage situation. Mm-hmm. That's what that was in the media. Now, what's funny about that is that lady, her name's Stephanie Drury, she was running ESPN and running the countdown show.
Yes.
That was Steph. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that. I know Steph well, but I didn't know that was Steph.
They ultimately ended up hiring me.
Right.
I went from throwing a garbage can at her to them being my boss. That was definitely Steph, man.
I didn't know that.
She was trying to. That is funny, man, how that works out.
Mike.
Out.
So we've gone through. Everyone knows your career, successful, and that's great. But then you get to a point in your life where, okay, it's time to move on, right? And how was that? And we've talked to other guys. We talked to Darren about this quite a bit. But that transition from being a player to we call it civilian life, but to what's next, right? And I know you're a man of faith, and your identity isn't something bigger than yourself, right? And I get that. But how was your personal identity tested? Now that you're not Michael Irvin, the football player, now you're Michael Irvin media, whatever you transitioned into next. What was that process like for you?
And it's a great question, because you're right. And it's such a divorce and a tough process. And people don't think about it. Now, to give context to it, remember what I said. Until the third grade, I felt like I was absolutely nothing, and football gave me my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And now, since third grade, I've lived off this identity, and now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's gone, and I can't take it. I can't play anymore. And it was that was a battle. That was a battle. And I found out there's certain things I thought of myself that were not true. You know, I thought I was a strong man, but I found out really what I was doing is switching addictions. There were certain things I could do in the off season and then stop doing because the football came around. But then I no longer had football, and everything went chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was no control mechanism that I could turn to and say, focus in right here and straighten out everything. And that left me in a tough place for quite a while.
Yeah.
They left me in a tough place for quite a while. And then, you know, of course, I got on. I've always wanted to do broadcasting, and I had opportunities to do it, but my heart was still on the football field.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. And so until I got my heart back off the football field and was able to redirect it into this area and find the love for this and pour into it. Yeah, that was a struggle. That was a real struggle.
Yeah, and Mike, I was there the day that you went down in Philly, and it was like heartbreaking to go through that process when you had the injury. You know, I want you to take us back to the field at that moment when that injury happened. Take us back, and where were you mindset wise?
You know, first, and I had taken some hits, like falling, and felt like, you know, I could shake it off. You know, you feel when you take one of those hits, it's like a stinger.
Yeah.
The whole body shakes, but you shake it off and everything. When I laid on the field that time, and I remember I took the hit, and I rolled over, and they were like, said something like, move your legs, or cross your legs or something. She said, uncross your legs. My legs were crossed. And, excuse me. And I said, I did. In the look on the person's face, it's what scared me. I was like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't hide that my legs did not uncross. And I was like, whoa. You know, and then I just felt the fear of it all. Because that's the one thing I think every football player, deep down inside, is worried about. If you ask me, his deepest, darkest fear is always ending up paralyzed on the football field, and to have had that really happen to you, that was a scary situation. I definitely thought that that it was over, and all I could think about at that time was, man, I remember that morning, little Michael, we were throwing the football, and he kept wanting to throw it. I said, I had to go. I had to get on plane the day before that. I got to go. And I said, we'll do it when I get back. And I thought about that. I said, well, we won't be able to do it when I get back. Oh, but thank God, things worked out, and I'm doing okay. I'm doing well.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I'm over here crying right now, man, because I remember, it's like it was yesterday, being on the field when that happened, like walking out from the sideline and the guy who's been your leader all this time being on the ground. And I think there was a point of for all of us of being, you had that feeling of invincibility. Mm-hmm. And then when you see your dude, like the alpha dude on the ground and can't get, man, it just took me back to that moment, because then I looked at self and thought, man, hey, this could be any of us. If it's going to happen to him, it could be any of us, man. And I'm glad you shared that, man.
But it was, and for me, it didn't even seem, it wasn't a big hit or anything. Nope. It wasn't a devastating hit. And it was so hard to accept. Even beyond that, I tried to get back on the field because I had gone to see a lot of doctors, and basically what I have is stenosis, a narrowing of the spinal column, and they're saying, maybe the next hit could be devastating. Okay, Mike, you're fortunate to be okay, but the next one may be devastating. And I really wanted to try. And the whole thing was, my wife said, "Baby, you know how you are. You're going to challenge yourself in that area. You're going to challenge. If I think everybody's thinking about it, I'm gonna show you I'm not scared of it." And she said that right there. She said, "How can you put me through that?
Yeah.
How can you put us through that?" I hear every time you get hit, we're holding our breath, and then I finally just said I had to relent and say, okay. But that was a hard process, because I often joke before that, saying they won't have to drag me off the field. Mm-hmm. I ain't leaving. Right. That's how much I love it. I'm not leaving this. I'm never going to stop playing. And they literally ended up did. That's exactly what they did. They carried me off the field. Yeah. I said it, and that's exactly how it happened.
Wow, man. Yeah, here I got one question, and then Ben's going to wrap us up with our final question we'd like to ask all of our guests. But it's really clear that you had a hunger that really could never be quenched, right? But talk to like some of the listeners. We got some, whether high school athletes, or not, right? Because we don't want to just talk to football players here. We want to talk about life in general, because football's a game, right? And there's a start point and there's an end point. But life and the purpose that you have is beyond just the game that you play. But you came from a background that, okay, hey, I had to hustle. I had to work. I had to be hungrier than everyone else because I had to overcome these challenges. What about those kids that are in Frisco, Texas, or, Scottsdale, Arizona, or Abilene, right? Like that, okay, maybe their life is tough, but not in circumstances that they have to survive, right? And they have to do something. What is it that if you're talking to them to give them encouragement, okay, you want to be great, here's what you can do. You may live in the mansion, or you may live in a nice house, or you may not worry about your next meal, but you can still be great. Because I don't think greatness is exclusive to someone that overcomes great challenges materially, right? So what is that your advice to those people to say, hey, listen, it's a mindset and you can control that?
Well, and you're hitting some points and hitting on some points in the reality of what we're discussing. Hunger is not exclusive to people without material things. There are other things that you can be hungry for. So Grant Hill, who came up in a pretty good upbringing because of Calvin Hill. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Yeah. How does Grant Hill do well? Because he came up in a great environment because of Calvin Hill. Well, he was able to direct his hunger, his thirst. It was, not that I need another meal, or not that I want a big house, but my thirst is, I want to do better than my dad. Mm. I want to make my dad's ceiling my floor. Mm. I'm going to step on it and go higher. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my thirst right there. That's my hunger. Your hunger doesn't have to be exclusive to food, to a car, to a nice house. You know what I mean? What do you want more than anything? And you pull on it to get anything. Right. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you want it, I want. If everybody in your school, in your family, never went to school, I'm going to graduate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be the first to graduate. You know, in the Bible, they call that a hero. And a hero in the Bible is he who goes first, because he opened the way, path for those that come behind. You know, we want heroes. You got to do something great and we'll call you a hero. But the reality is, the Bible says, you that go first is something great. You know, so you got to find your hunger, what drives you, and then don't stop until you drive there. That's just the bottom line. And it doesn't have to be just one thing. Yeah. It could be any one thing you choose.
Love that.
Man.
Love that.
Well, the banger that we like to end every episode with our guest is this question. And I caveat with, it's not necessarily anything you would change, but if you could go back to any point in your life and tell yourself one thing, where do you go and what do you tell yourself?
Hey now.
I am going to go to the 1988. I'm going to that young Mike Irvin that's coming in the league. I'm slapping little butt around a little bit. I'm gonna slap his young ass around a little bit. I'm telling him, now, listen. You ain't gonna be spending my money on some of this jewelry and stuff that we're not gonna wear at 50 years old. Oh, yeah.
That's perfect.
That is amazing. That's great.
Right. And then I'm also going to tell them, listen, man, we got to do some things better. Because honestly, man, I tell young people now, I get to reminisce on the history. Even reminiscing is great, Darren, and as great as we can reminisce and we're blessed, things we accomplished. I'm so pissed that I wasn't more focused, that I didn't do more. I look back, I played in 3 straight national championship games at the University of Miami. I should have won all 3 of them. When that year I got hurt in Philly, God bless him, thank God for letting me walk again. We were undefeated. We were ready to go again that year. Yeah. We just got rocket. I was like, man. So if Eric Williams wouldn't have had that car accident, we'd have won 94. Yeah. We'd have won 94 even without Jimmy. Right. We'd have won that year. You know what I mean? All of these things, they kill my head all the time, and I still got a great life to reminisce on. Great highs. So I try to tell young people now, man, I can only reminisce, understand while you are young. Right now, you are writing. You are writing your history, man. Write well. Don't let that dumb junk that's going to be there forever get in the way of you making your mark that will last forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I want to tell that young dude, okay, maybe let some of the clubbing go. Let some of it go. Can you let some of that mess go if it brings us 2 or 3 more championships? Yeah. You know what I mean? I would like to talk to him, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. But certainly, I'm going to whoop that joke up in 88. That's just a little bit early.
Great answer.
Right when they hand him that first signing bonus, I just want to be right in the room and slap his ass.
Take it. Let me have it. Let me have it.
Right. Let me tell you something right now. What you going to do with this? You know?
Well, Mike, man, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, this is an all-timer, man.
I've always admired you. You've always been a good friend, always been honest, like brutally honest with me over the years, man. And I appreciate you for that, man. And thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah. And thanks, man, for being a leader in the community too. I know you've had challenges that you've overcome and you've had vices over your life, but you've used those and those experiences and maybe those low points to help other kids, other young men avoid it. And so thank you for that. And thank you for everything that you're doing, man. We appreciate you.
And that's ultimately what it's about. Now, because honestly, and we'll, because as you talk about the things that you may regret on the football field or the things you didn't accomplish, man, I could have accomplished this. And also in life, there's something, man, I wish I wouldn't. But what gives me peace about it is when I get calls back. Okay, I was talking to Joe Mixon the other day, a young man. Because I reach out to all the young guys that are coming in that may have had some issues prior to. And one of the things Joe Mixon said, I said, I just want to make sure that you have all the things you need to be the most successful you can be, and in life. And I said, I want to be a resource for you in any way. And we were talking about it. I said, you know, when you make a bad decision, you know, he made a bad decision. He said, you know, people try to hold you to that for the rest of your life. You know, you can't let somebody make what you did who you are forever.
Right.
You know, forever. And if it matters to you and you want to change that, then you can do that. And he's talking about the great things he's doing in the community. And I was like, I just want to make sure that you're doing it with the right people helping you, all of those things. But they come to me because of those issues that I've had, and they ask my advice to how they can help. So the only thing that helped me deal with making those bad decisions is I said, well, thank you, God, for putting me in position to help other young men.
Yeah.
And then young men like that called me, and they always said, man, thank you for just being there, man, so somebody we can talk to. And as you said, dog, that makes it all worth it.
That's
right.
right.
It gives some peace to them ignorant decisions. That young joker, I want to slap his face. It gives some kind of peace to those ignorant decisions.
Yeah. Hey, and it's cool that you didn't call me, man. My number changed in like 2011, so it's cool, man. I know sometimes it gets confusing why I didn't get that call from you, but it's cool. But I appreciate you, man.
88. Thanks, brother.
Right, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Hey, you guys keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep making a difference. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, man.